Hi everyone, this is Cynthia, psychic and astrologer. So we're going to be discussing the June astrological events for you to look forward to. So let's get started. So the first main event that I want to point out will be the full moon on June 3rd. Now, this full moon will fall in the sign of Sagittarius. Sagittarius is a very fun-loving, loves the outdoor, adventurous type of sign. It's actually a time where you're going to notice more frequently a time to take a vacation, go out and take trips, maybe take on adventures, go to a lake, just venture out and get out of town even. So the next 2 weeks will bring a time for you to maybe be open to taking on new adventures, getting out, visiting friends, family. Um, like I said, this could be a time of just taking a vacation, or it could be others are taking a vacation and they're visiting you. Now, this full moon does connect well with Pluto and Mars, but will square Saturn. So when we do have a Saturn square with the full moon, it's going to define a time of obligations. Now, the obligations could be work related, could be family related. Maybe you have to bring your work home. Maybe this is a time you have to bring your work to your vacation. Now, it could also be in regards to schedule conflicts, maybe some difficulties in having to make adjustments with the schedule, maybe schedule changes. And this could also relate to relationships. They could affect a personal relationship. There could be a time of compromise, and this could also bring about difficulties in trying to make those compromises. The other thing that I did want to point out is that Sagittarius also is associated or connected to taxes. This could be a time of owing taxes, paying taxes, taking care of tax obligations. It may not even relate to your personal taxes. It could relate to another type of tax or someone else's taxes. This could also be maybe a tax refund or a tax return. So, definitely the next 2 weeks is a time of venturing out, going out, uh, taking on new opportunities to make new changes for your career. Maybe you study and learn a new topic of interest, take on some types of classes or courses to further your career, maybe to get a certification. So the next 2 weeks is a very positive time, but also it is a full moon. So this could bring about, like I said, some kind of obligation. Maybe it's a time where you feel overwhelmed, tired, frustrated, overworked. And maybe it's also a time for your body to just try to relax as much as possible, but just don't be surprised that you're going to be taking on more than maybe what you want to. It could be on a positive at the end, like it brings you more money, more sales, but then it could also wear you out and tire you out. And this could be a time where you just need to make time for yourself. The new moon on June 18th will fall in the sign of Gemini. I always say whenever we have a new moon, full moon, anything in relation to Gemini, it's always a representation of two of something. Obviously, Gemini rules the twins. Now, this will bring about a time to see an increase of communication through emails, text messages, phone calls, short trips, travels. You will also find yourself connecting more with family members, especially with aunts, uncles, cousins. Now, this new moon is actually really positive with Saturn and Jupiter. I really like that it's going to bring about a form of discipline for you. So, any kind of work related projects, you're going to take on a lot, but you're also going to have that motivation, that drive, that patience to take on a lot of that work. Jupiter connects very well with this new moon. So this is actually going to be a very positive time to see results, get a lot of work done, but you see the payoff at the end. Now, the only thing that I would say is a little concerning is that the sun and the moon will square off with Neptune. So this could bring about some confusion, deception, fogginess. That's only if you're trying to rush through things and you're not really seeing the picture clearly. So I would say try to do your best with the Saturn energy to be disciplined in taking on the task and the projects and taking on the steps one at a time. Now, this is actually going to increase, like I said, communication with others. Um, be careful when texting or sending out emails because with the Neptune square, that could bring about confusion in a message. Or maybe you trying to explain something, the other person seems more confused in what it is you're trying to say. But I do like that with the Saturn connection, it's going to bring about a sense of um, having patience to focus on getting your message out. You may notice an increase of travel, um, maybe going out, long distance trips, maybe visiting family and friends. So, this new moon does bring about a lot of long term progress that will pay itself off at the end. This could relate to your career, maybe it's relationships, maybe it's finances. If you're working to build towards something, you will see the results and the benefits of it down the road, but it won't be a sudden direct result. So it might be something that will take months in progress to see the long term payoff, but you're not going to notice it in a few days. So the energy of Gemini is really going to be upbeat and active. Great energy for you to feel motivated. You're going to be having that energy to just get out. With the full moon that we had earlier in the month, with the Sagittarius full moon, brings about also that motivation, that drive to be active. The Gemini energy is going to make you more mentally active. So, this is a great time to get those projects going, especially if it requires a lot of research in detail, too. So, this is a great time to connect with others, increase that communication, take short trips to visit family and friends. This is a great time to just to connect with the people around you. Now, on June 17th, we're going to be going through a Saturn retrograde. Now, Saturn is a planet that likes to create disciplinary structure, security, stability. So, when it goes through a retrograde, it tends to sometimes bring about setbacks, delays, maybe even a feeling of having to reevaluate what has not been working. And if it is a time to restructure, reorganize, go through something to start kind of moving forward, then this could be a time of where reality really kicks in and time to really start taking focus on maybe what has been neglected and time to really go through the realization that things need a change. So, if anything, this is just going to be a time where it helps you to take a deeper look into things. If you need to make a new evaluation, change things around, it just helps you to move things forward and move on with your life, or just to move forward and taking on the next steps, what you need to for the next chapter of your life. On June 5th, Venus will be entering the sign of Leo. Now, starting July 22nd, 23rd, Venus will retrograde and start its retrograde cycle and will continue all the way till September before going direct. Now, because it's going to be in the sign of Leo, you definitely want to see where Leo falls for you in your sign. This is actually going to be a time where it could bring about significant changes in relationships, finances, the future of your finances. So, what I would highly suggest is to check out my yearly horoscopes where I do discuss how, for your sign, the Venus retrograde will affect you. And I also discuss where Venus enters for your particular sign. So make sure you check out your yearly horoscope. But I did want to bring up that we will be starting to have the Venus retrograde in July, late July, but Venus will be starting to enter the sign of Leo on June 5th. Now, I did also want to mention that we're going to be having Mercury in Gemini on June 11th. So it's big energy for Gemini. The sun, the new moon in Gemini, and obviously Mercury. So you're going to notice an increase of communication through emails, text messages, phone calls, short trips, whether you're taking short trips, maybe it's more around town, out of town, maybe family members visiting you, aunts, uncles, cousins coming to visiting you, maybe you're visiting them and taking a trip to go visit them. So definitely you're going to notice communication increasing with that. I did want to point out a couple of significant dates that I think are going to relate very much financially or how you handle your finances. So you definitely want to keep an eye on the dates of um, June 13th, June 28th, and June 29th. Now, a day that I would say might make you look at finances a little more realistically will be June 15th. So these are going to be dates that I think are going to be helping you to really uh, look everything over cautiously, budget, save, think more for the long term, plan more for the long term. And I feel this could highly benefit you in a great way. So, for now, this is actually going to be a very significant time when it comes down to finances, structuring, thinking more for the long term. The Gemini energy is really going to help you to really get more um, active, more social, put yourself out there. So this is actually going to be a very active time to build new connections, meet new people, and just build a social group or a social connection.